Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Earlier this week, Tennessee, we were talking about how the Detroit Lions were playing the Ravens last year, and the Ravens had like a 35-0 lead at the half. Started the second half, and Baltimore scored like a minute into the second half. And all of a sudden, they went to the studio to Kurt Menefee, and he said, "We're going to now take you to a more competitive game." Is there another program password game?
Unfortunately, there's not.
Is there somewhere else that people could go listen?
Because they could
run
just
best of.
Yeah, maybe best of, because this has really been, and I take much of the blame. What I really love was fascinating to me here in the studio off air. The ladies were talking about coloring their hair and doing this and doing that, and I've never colored my hair. Tennessee certainly hasn't either, or not lately, because he doesn't have it.
Well.
He lost his hair. How irresponsible.
It was cheaper to lose it than have to color it. So just shave it off.
So I've learned a lot about coloring of hair. What I need to really learn about is getting some points in program password. 44 Zippo, is that what it is?
42-0.
Wow.
And I should say
we're totally fine.
the worst program password margin of loss ever.
I was
when Common and Amelia lost to Frank Vassalero and Mark Rose, and they lost 82-0. So it is possible.
Okay.
That one was 46-0 at half. This one's 42-0 at half.
Everybody's got to have goals.
That one is in danger of being broken.
If I were to tell you, like let's say the program password god whispered in your ear, "You're not going to win today." Would you like then to set the all-time record, be biblically bad? Because I'm a biblically bad person. If we can't win, I'd rather lose like 84-0. I could be the two of the worst losses in the history of the game.
No, that's not what I want.
Okay, then I'll try.
I think she's tanking to get more promotion for her podcast.
I want to win.
All right.
Of course I do.
Okay. But I said if you couldn't win, if you were told,
no, I don't want to lose that bet.
You can't win. Oh,
no.
Okay.
No.
By the way, you can watch Program Password at KFAN.com/watch. I saw this note from Matt Callahan. He says, they're not down by a lot. All they need is a touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Isn't that fun?
Onside kick.
I'd rather not have anybody comment on this game. Everybody, you can watch,
really funny
but
stuff.
please don't comment on the game. That'd be great.
All right, we ready to play?
Yeah.
Sure.
Lil B and Audra lead Common and Carly 42-0. I need Common and Audra to take a look at the iPad, please. The password is SHIELD. All right, Common. Down 42, you're going to have the option for a while here.
This is where usually I've accused you of coming out with a gimme right away for the losing
Yes.
team. I sure hope this one is. I'm going to go first.
All right, Common and Carly for 10 to get on the board.
Brooke.
Shield.
Yes.
Wow.
I didn't know if you would guess that or not. I was matter of fact, as I said it, I said that's the stupidest clue of all time.
No, it's not. It was brilliant.
Yeah, because you could have said crick or something like creek. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got it. I felt you. I knew it.
All right,
They're on the board. The shutout is over. It's 42-10.
The comeback has begun.
Lil B and Carly, take a look at the iPad. The password is safe. All right, Carly, you could gain a little momentum here. You got 10 last time. You got the option again. What do you want to do here, first or second?
First.
All right, Carly and Common for 10.
Vault.
Jump.
Lil B and Audra for 9.
Protected.
Safe.
Vault was a good.
I felt like vault was a good.
Well, when you said vault, I was going to say stripper.
Yeah, I went to gymnastics, so I was thinking like the vault.
Oh, I would immediately thought like.
And you know what the best part of this is?
I don't know.
Oh, great clue!
No, I don't
I'm
know.
over here going.
Yeah.
Terrible answer.
I'm the idiot. I guess I'm the idiot.
Barb and I talked about this before. I was like, please just keep me.
Yeah.
Pump me
Yes,
up.
I'm the idiot.
No.
No, I am, because you said great clue.
Well, it was a good clue.
I know,
At least you're self-aware.
Yeah.
Lil B and Audra lead 51-10. Common and Audra. Take a look at the iPad.
Much.
The password is lid. Common, down 41. You have the option, first or second.
Hello.
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 Oh.
Hello.
Sorry, forgot the button again.
Okay.
You got the option, Common.
Really, it's like a real bad day for Program.
I got to go second.
All right. Audra and Lil B for 10.
Top. Tube.
Common and Carly for 9.
Pot.
Cover.
Audra and Lil B for 8.
Cover.
Lid. As soon as I said cover, I was like, it's lid.
I would have said cover. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
If I would have said ounce of dope, would you have known that's a lid?
Hell yeah.
What?
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Well, you can't say ounce of dope, but that's 3 words.
Yeah,
Too many words.
But I didn't know that was a thing.
Lid.
Yeah, I'm going to go by lid, man. I don't even know why it's called a lid.
The
but
lid
that's
is
what
lit.
it's called.
59-10. Lil B and Audra, you're 21 points away from winning.
I'll never forget that 10-pointer we got, though.
No,
never forget it as long as I live.
It was magical.
Yep, it was.
Lil B and Carly, take a look at the iPad. The password is energy.
Okay.
All right, Carly, you're down 49 points. What do you want to do here? You want to go
I'm
first
going
or second?
first.
All right, Carly and Common for 10.
XL.
Energy!
Hey! Look at us. Look at us.
There we go.
All right, still got a chance. It's 59-20.
That one was mine.
Common and Audra, take a look at the iPad. The password is code. All right, Common, you're down 39. You have the option. You have another chance here to gain some momentum. What do you want to do?
We'll go first.
Yeah, we will.
All right, Common and Carly for 10.
Morse.
Code.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, I mean, does anybody feel the momentum?
Big
It's like
Mo.
a big wave.
It is.
All you guys do is
That was
get
a
tens.
layup. That's what that was.
Like Hurricane Milton is just coming through. Changing that.
All of a sudden, it's 59-30. We're within 29 points. Lil B and Carly, take a look at the iPad. The password is fur. All right, Carly, you're down 29 points. You could really make this interesting here if you guys get this one.
Oh, I almost swear.
The option's yours. First or second?
Second.
All right, Lil B and Audra for 10.
Mink. Coat.
Carly and Common for 9.
Pelt.
Fur. I would have said coat, too, though. I don't know what else I'd say.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was too obvious. I don't know, but we're coming.
I was going to say Frasier, but then I was like, you're probably going to think like I meant the radio.
Yeah.
Frasier fur.
I've
It's a tree.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of a tree.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Thanks, Bachman. My God. Who knows that?
All of a sudden, we got a 20-point game. It's 59-39. Common and Audra, take a look at the iPad.
Oh, yeah.
The password is score. Common, you are a 10-pointer away here from making this a one-possession game. You're down 20. You got the option. What do you want to do, first or second? Five seconds.
I'm going to go second.
All right, Audra and Lil B for 10.
Touchdown. That's one word, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Score.
Yes.
That was good. That was good. Real nervous.
Would you have got that if I would have said it? You think? Because I was going to go either goal or touchdown, but I thought that's.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I
We
want
needed that.
Brilliant.
I was getting nervous. Yeah, me too.
Gosh darn it.
All right, Zach Halverson, go
should
get on
still be
social media.
nervous.
It's 69-39. Lil B and Audra lead by 30 points. They are 11 points away from winning. Lil B and Carly, iPad. The password is rest. All right, Carly, you can restart that momentum train. You're down 30. You got the option. What would you like to do here?
second.
Okay, Lil B and Audra for 10.
Napping. Baby.
Carly and Common for 9.
Beauty.
Sleep.
Lil B and Audra for 8.
Nap. Rest.
Yeah. Common. It's beauty rest. You get your beauty.
But I need beauty sleep.
Oh, I guess, yeah, you could say it. Oh, man. Wow.
And as soon as I said sleep, I knew it was wrong. Because just napping, the word wouldn't be just time.
Oh, 77.
Here's where we're at.
Wow.
It's okay. That was my
She
fault.
just
Beauty
opened a
sleep is-
present.
yeah.
Lil B and Audra have 77 points, so any correct answer, and they are victorious.
I'm crying.
Common and Carly, you're at 39, but you'll at least still have the option the rest of the way. Common and Audra, take a look at the iPad. The password is ticket. All right, Common, you are down 38 points, if my math is correct.
We're not out yet.
The
option's
go
yours.
First. We'll go first.
All right, Common and Carly for 10.
Speeding.
Bullet.
Audra and Lil B for 9 in the win.
Lottery. Ticket.
Ball game.
It could have been worse.
You don't hate
Are
me,
we
do you?
okay? Yeah, I was like, are we okay? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that you and I are still good.
I am.
Well, Carly, last time you were here, you were worried about getting your kids picked up in time. No worries today.
Wow.
You're good. Plenty of time.
Wow, Tenna. Wow. That
Plenty of time to pick them up.
So what are you doing in your spare time now?
like the next 15 minutes that
Just in general.
She has this 15 minutes blocked off. She had nothing going.
No, I mean, launching the podcast has been a big one for
what
me.
is that?
Yeah.
now?
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
what-
Yeah.
You have a podcast?
Yes,
Why don't
and
you
it
tell
has
us
a
little bit about
website
that?
called herewegopodcast.com, and it's called Here We Go with Carly Zucker. And it's really, I'm hoping to build a community right here in our own backyard of people who I felt so isolated and alone when I was going through a lot of my struggles with mental health and addiction and relationships. And I just don't want that for other people. So I'm hoping that if we can come together and build this community, it's a little bit stronger for everybody and we can lean on each other when it's really dark when it's light.
Do you have a co-host? Or are you doing just guests?
I'm just doing
okay.
So Chris Hockey did the first 4 episodes
Okay.
with me because
All
he
right.
can obviously very much relate and we're very close. So he did the first 4 episodes, which are out now. And then from there, it's just going to be various topics. We're going to talk about being the support person, because it's really hard to be on the other side of it and be the support person and what that looks like. And then a child psychologist and what it is for children to go through things like this. So, I mean, we're going to have various topics, have some fun with it too, have some laughs. Not going to be, it's very heavy stuff, but we're also going to have a lot of fun too. So,
Yeah. And so, and what's the name of the podcast
here
again?
we go.
And it can be found in a lot of different places, correct?
Yeah.
Well, like where?
Well, Lil B.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah,
Use the
yeah.
iHeartRadio
iHeartRadio
app.
app is definitely where you want to.
I would definitely start there.
Yeah, let's push there. Yeah.
Because that keeps us all employed.
Yeah,
and,
so let's just go to the iHeartRadio
They sign
app.
our paycheck. So
Yeah.
go to the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah.
All of your podcasts.
Now,
right there.
Audra, I don't know if you want to get into this too deep, but there's changes for you with the twins now, right?
Yeah.
Do we know what's going to happen? Do you know what your world is going to be like?
No, I don't. It's a very unnerving feeling. You want to come work on the street team in the summer? I got openings. Right now,
Audra and I are going to take to the street team.
I'm a good boss. I'll teach you a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm a free agent. I'm ultimately, yes, I would love to return to the Twins, and they know that I would love to return to them too. So, it's in the hands of Major League Baseball and the Twins right now, and Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. They've decided they're going to go. And Major League Baseball's done this for a couple of teams so far this year, right? Where they actually
last year,
they produce this, they do the whole thing. And I think you said that in a couple of other markets, they have used the people that the on-air people that they've used.
Kept pretty much everybody on air. They kept
so that's encouraging, correct?
That is encouraging. Yeah. So I am hoping if y'all cross fingers, pray, send good energy.
Yeah, okay,
psalm.
very good.
You mean psalm?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
a psalm, there we go.
Until then, though, I'm busy with the Wild, which is great.
Right.
And so,
yeah, we had someone request some extra Wild talk with Audra.
Oh.
Since we have this extra time.
Oh, I like that.
Well, go ahead, Tennessee.
I do have to go because I do love the Wild. Congratulations, and I hope nothing but the best. But I do have children to pick up, and I'm just so
Why don't you tell us a little bit? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your children? We got to get to 2:15. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your kids?
To talk hockey.
Okay, Audra, let's talk hockey.
Yeah, but I'm happy. Yeah, we can do a whole segment on just my children if you'd like. That'd be really fun.
We could do that anytime you'd like.
I love you guys so much.
Thanks, Carly.
Thank you for letting me play. Love you.
Thanks, Carly. The Wild, your thoughts?
I'm losing
15 minutes.
The Wild, your thoughts?
So this is going to be very honest because people are always like, you're such a homer. I actually think this season is going to be good. I think a lot of people are really being kind of cautious, and because of how things went last year, I think there's, whether some fans or some of the talking heads don't necessarily have them high on their list of playoff contenders and stuff. I do think they will make the playoffs. Of course, a big part of it's going to be injuries. But I don't care who you are, what team last year, if you went through the kind of injuries that the Wild went through last year, no team was going to come out of there with a spectacular season. So, I mean, I've covered sports for how many years now? 15. I've never really seen a team that has been so just annihilated by injuries all at the same time to so many key players. So I think there's a little bit more depth this year. I think the internal competition with 3 goaltenders is very interesting. I've certainly never covered a team that has done that. And then just some of the guys that they have ready to go and step up if an injury does pop up, I feel pretty good about. So I think it could be an interesting season. I just think that the Central is going to be, tough. There's teams that scare me a little bit. Nashville being one of them with some of the moves that they made this year. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. I don't know.
What about your thoughts? There seems to be this dark cloud sort of maybe on the horizon with Kaprizov because, wants to win. We can offer the most money. Do you have a feel for where you think that might go? Do you share the same concerns that some fans do that if we don't win right away, he might decide to go somewhere else? Because even though, as was said, the Wild can offer him the most money, sometimes guys goes, well, if I'm taking $1 million less, but I'm playing for a team that's going to make a deep run into the playoffs, I might want to do that instead.
Well, I think concerns are fair in that kind of situation. I do know that he really likes it here. I always say if they want to keep Kirill here, then they just need to keep Matt Zuccarello here. Like, even if he retires, keep him here. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they got a bromance going on.
They're BFFs. Okay. I think that there's some concern, but I do think that he really likes it here. I did really appreciate what Craig Leopold said the other day, the transparency of saying, we're going to do, he understands that we have to win. That's part of the equation. It sounds like he's willing to spend the money if needed. You can't let a player like that get away. So it will be interesting. But I do think that this team has the potential to really start building something. So,
well, once the other dark cloud, the contracts for Suter and Parisi are off. I guess if you're the Wild, you talk to Parisi and then you go, hold on, we're going to have money here. We're going to be able to go out and help the team win because I don't know why he wouldn't like it here. It's a good we're the state of hockey, for crying out loud, and there's a good fan base, and there seem to be a good nucleus of players.
Yeah, and I think the organization is good. There are some organizations, you hear players leave there and they are glad to leave. I don't think you hear that too often with players leaving Minnesota and they can't wait to get out. I could be wrong. But yeah, no, I think this is a great place to play. So I hope it works out. I don't know. I'm not panicking yet because that doesn't do anybody any good. And so I don't know. I hope he's here for a long time. I hope I'm here for a long time. I hope we're all here in this lovely industry called media for a long time, and we all get to talk about Kirill Kaprizov for a long time.
I think I might. I don't think I'm long for program password. I was hoping to be here a real long time, but I don't know if that's.
You're under 500 now.
I know I'm under 500.
You've lost 7 of 8.
I feel like the Kirk Cousins Program Password.
You feel like the muss.
He hovers around 500 all the time. So that's where I'm at right now, too.
And Ted, I want to say thank you. You stuck with me. It was like, how many times did you ask if I could come in and play
we had to get through the baseball season.
Yeah, baseball season was tough.
You kept being on the road.
Yeah. So thank you for not giving up
We'll
on
always
me
have you
and
back,
giving me another shot.
Yeah, well, we'll have you back again. How can you not? As long as you keep winning and you're entertaining, and you're both of you are going to keep coming back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You guys are great.
We'll take a break. We will come back. He's the former International Boxing Federation super middleweight champion in the world. Caleb Truax joins us next, right here on the Common Man program on the Fan. Lil B, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, the Fan and two men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. The keyword is dollar. Enter it now at KFAN.com. Hey, it's the playoffs. Come out to Mall of America this Sunday for a playoff championship series watch party from 1:30 to 3:30. The game will be streamed live on the big screen in the Huntington Bank Rotunda with tons of fun prizes and games for all ages. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
I announced earlier today, no more free show at the radio station. I have an old saying I just made up about the comedy business, no money, no funny. Well, guess what? You can get funny for free right now. Don't miss your chance to see the Flop, Sweat, and Tears tour. It's over. This time we mean it. It hits the road soon. See Common Sauce and Larry Mondello Guy at the Chart House in Lakeville, Wednesday, October 23rd. Be the 11th caller right now and you win a pair of tickets. It includes dinner featuring Briano's famous spaghetti and meat sauce, courtesy of the Chart House. Mick Sterling presents, and all of us here at the Fan. Be the 11th caller if you'd like to see comedy at its finest.
Lucky.
1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. The 11th caller will win tickets to see the Flop, Sweat, and Tears show. Right now we go to our Connecticut Water Systems hotline. He's the former International Boxing Federation super middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome Golden Caleb Truax. How are you, buddy?
Good, my boy. I like the introduction, man.
Yeah, do you miss that? Do you miss hearing that? You're retired now?
I do.
You do miss it, don't you?
I do. I retired. That's one thing I miss the most is, I was just telling somebody that the other day is the intro, the walk-in, the national anthem. That was one of my favorite parts. And obviously, you've been to big fights before. That's one of the best moments in sports, I think, is the build-up, getting ready for the big fight to start. Yeah, it really is, especially when it's like, I mean, even before you became world champ, big fights like when you're fighting, like Vanda was such a big fight. So many local fights were really big. They were exciting, big fan bases. People got into it, and then you kept climbing the ladder, and then you go across the pond and you beat Gale for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the world. So a lot of dreams came true. And yeah, you got to miss it. I can't see how you get, I mean, maybe not the training and all of that and getting punched, but just the whole concept of being a world champ's pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely don't miss getting hit in the face, that's for sure. And I've been training some fighters, some MMA guys down in Prior Lake in the basement gym. And the other day they had fights at Mystic Lake, and they were all preparing for the weigh-in and get ready to roll a couple nights before the fight. And I started getting the itch again. Yeah. And then I saw them putting their sweatsuits on, and I said, maybe I'll just sit back here and relax and watch you guys cut weight instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. We want to talk about a fight coming up this weekend, but I haven't talked to you since Daniel Dubois TKO'd Anthony Joshua, 8th round of a championship fight. Did you see that one coming? It was a pretty even fight on paper. Dubois was the underdog for sure, but Joshua has already had some problems with his chin, and Dubois exposed that and made him look bad, to be honest. The first round, he dropped him, I think, once or twice, and then ended up knocking him out in the 8th, I think it was, like you said. And, I don't know where Joshua goes from here, but he's always in exciting fights, for better or for worse. Well, what's crazy is in the 8th round, he hit Dubois probably with his best punch or combination, And he got excited. He thought, okay, now's my chance. And it was just seconds later, he gets stopped. So it looked like there might be a momentum change right then, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, he had him hurt and got a little over anxious and didn't mind his P's and Q's when he's coming on the offensive and got cracked with the right hand and put out pretty badly.
You're going to have to help me with this one. Dmitry Bivol and Artur. Can you? I can't say his name. I practiced.
Artur Beterbiev. They're both Russians. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. Great fight. Really, really good fight. One of the best fights there is to make in boxing right now, if not the best. And one of the first light heavyweight unification fights since Roy Jones was around back in like the late 90s, I believe.
What do you know about these two guys?
Both are great. They're both top 10 pound for pound guys. Dmitry Bivol is kind of the classic European boxer. He beat Canelo. That's his biggest win when Canelo moved up to 175 and beat him easily. He outpointed him with ease, didn't even really get hit. He's got a great jab, great movement, great defense. And on the other hand, you got Beterbiev, who's the consummate power puncher. He's 20-0 and got 20 knockouts, 100% KO rate. Just a really, really great matchup. Both guys are not in their prime. Beterbiev is like 39, so that could play a factor. But they're both at the top of their game and both undefeated, and it's for all four of the belts. So it's going to be a great fight, man.
I have the text message chain to prove this. When you and I, anytime there's a big fight that comes up, we'll go back and forth and talk about it.
Oh yeah,
and
we talk in text more than most people know.
That's exactly right. And the reason I say that I have this chain is because if people don't believe me, you generally predict the winner, and not only that, you'll predict how it's going. I think he's going to knock him out within, by 6. Lo and behold, he knocks him out in the 6th round or the 5th round, or you say, I think it's going to go to a decision, and you nail almost every fight. It's like you're prophetic.
Yeah, I should put some money on it in Vegas, but if I did that, then I'd lose them all. So I'll just stick to calling with you. I think this fight is it can go one of two ways. I think Beterbiev wins by knockout in the late rounds, 10, 11, 12, something like that, by just wearing Bivol down. But he is 39, and if his age shows, which if you're a boxing fan, you can kind of show your age overnight. And if his age shows, then I think Bivol will win a unanimous decision, 12 round, outpoint him over 12 rounds. So one of two ways. I think it's going to be a Beterbiev knockout, though. Well,
what's interesting is you mentioned, guys can get old overnight. I don't know if it happened overnight for you, but we talked when you announced your retirement that when your last fight, when you climbed inside the confines of the 4 ring posts, you kind of felt like, I see the punches, but I can't throw them as quickly anymore. You just don't have that spring in your step or the reflex or whatever it is. It's just it just disappears, and sometimes it does happen just overnight.
Yeah, prior to my last fight, I hadn't fought in almost 2 years, and in sparring, I felt great. Everything was going fine in sparring. I was healthy. But, got in there and I was 40 years old almost and just couldn't pull the trigger like I used to. And I saw everything. I didn't get hurt or didn't get beat up or anything. I just couldn't get the shots off. And in a sport like boxing, when you have to think about it, it's already too late. So it was a good indicator that it was time to hang him up, because I could have went on. I could have fought on a lower level, but there's no way I could compete on a higher level that I'm used to, or as high a level I'm used to competing on without being at the top of my game. So time to hang them up and sell some houses instead.
Yeah, right. Our guest is Caleb Truax, former International Boxing Federation super middleweight champ from Osseo. I don't think we've talked about the Tyson Jake Paul fight. What do you make of that? I mean, there are people that don't even think the fight should be allowed. I think they're using larger gloves, 2-minute rounds. Should it even be licensed? Some people are thinking that Tyson could get hurt real bad. There's others that think Tyson's going to knock out Jake Paul right away. What are your thoughts on the whole, if you want to call it a fiasco? I don't know. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, it's a fiasco. I'll be surprised if it even happens, to be honest.
Really?
Because it was supposed to be in July, I believe, and Mike Tyson his flight had to be grounded because he had like a emergency on the plane, and he's almost 60 years old, and I don't want to see him get hurt, man. Especially I don't want to see him lose to Jake Paul, which I think is going to happen. Jake Paul's 28 and young and strong, and Mike Tyson, and he's Mike Tyson. If he hits you, he can knock you out, but it's not generally the punch that goes away. It's your chin that goes away, and I don't want to see him get hit by a younger, strong guy like that, and go down and kind of be an image that you remember him as just being beat up by Jake Paul.
I don't remember, because my memory is so bad, if we talked about Tyson Fury losing. I think we talked prior to the fight, his last fight, where he lost to Usyk. And our guy Mark Nelson was the referee in that fight. What did you make of that fight? Yeah. Did you see that upset? Because I guess I consider it an upset. I think obviously Fury's the much more well-known fighter. But what are your thoughts about that fight?
Hey, you can look back in our text messages, and I'm sure that you'll see that I thought Alexander Usyk was going to win by decision because he was just a better fighter, man. Fury's so much bigger than him, which obviously plays a role in the sport, but Usyk is just so good and so quick and more focused, I believe, than Fury is. And he just outboxed him, and Fury had his moments and made the fight close, but at the end of the fight, Usyk hit him with a real good left hand and hurt him, and Mark Nelson almost had to stop the fight. Fury was held up by the ropes when he went down and countered at the knockdown, but he could have ended up stopping the fight, and some people thought he should have stopped the fight.
You did have him. You did say he was going to win in our text messages. I'm looking at it right now. You did. You called him. You call him on me, boy. Very good. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a watch. Anytime you recommend a fight to me, I 90% of the time, if I've got the time, I watch it, because you generally don't talk up a prize fight unless it is going to be a good one. So I'll be watching on Saturday night. Thanks for joining us.
It'll be on early. It'll be on about 5 o'clock, I believe, because it's in Saudi Arabia. So don't forget to tune in early.
Thanks, Caleb. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
All right.
You bet.
See you, Comment.
You bet. That's Caleb Truax, former International Boxing Federation super middleweight champion of the world. Tenby, I think we've had a really good week. I'd call our final segment on the other side of the break. Call it Victory Formation segment. We'll do that next. Common Man Program on the Fan.
The Victory Formation.
Join former Twins players LaTroy Hawkins and Glenn Perkins, as well as other local celebrities, for Paddles for a Purpose Pickleball Social on October 13th at Minneapolis Cider Company to help raise funds for Hammer and NER, a local nonprofit that provides housing and services to people with developmental disabilities. Enjoy games, food, and live music and more. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 pass. Common Man Program. I'm Common. He's Tenby. Big ticket. JG's out. He's on his way to California. California, here I come. Right back where I started from, though I don't think he started in California, but he's going there for the Gopher football game. They take on UCLA at the Rose Bowl. You'll hear that game on the Fan. Tenby, being the hardcore Gopher fan that I am, I probably should know this, but what is game time? Is that an evening? Will that be under the lights at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, or will that game... Is that an afternoon affair?
According to the Chad Abbott calendar, which has been wrong before.
Correct.
But according to that, it's at 8 o'clock, pregame at 6.
Yeah. All right. So 6 p.m., 8 p.m. kickoff.
So 6 o'clock California time. So
it will be JG or Barrero and Brett Blakemore coming in at 3 o'clock. It tend to be, it was, is it yesterday, the poll ad announcement?
Yes.
The Pollad announced the press release. And again, remember, keep in mind how it's worded. Pollad family announces intent to explore selling the Minnesota Twins. So Columbus had intended to explore the 7 seas and find something other than Europe. And he did. So his intent to explore did work out well. He did explore, but intent to explore doesn't mean that they'll find a buyer, that or they'll find a buyer that's willing to pay what they want, or there's still a lot of unanswered questions, and the announcement was just made. So while I'm pretty confident they really do intend to sell. They will find a buyer, and whether that happens in a week, a month, a year, whatever, I think it will happen. But there have been a lot of people weighing in on that development. Media, fans, all sorts of people. I think the biggest gripe against the poll ads over the years, and I'll take part of the responsibility. For 30 years, I've been saying, why is the payroll always just doesn't seem like it's quite enough to get us over the hump? And the Twins, and we call them the poll ad pocket protectors, media and fans who, nope, that has nothing to do with it. We're in a small market. Their hands are tied, blah, blah, blah. They don't generate enough money. My comeback to that was always, well, yeah, but this isn't a salary cap league, and you don't have to only spend money generated by the franchise on the franchise. You can dip into your bank account. You can go into the piggy bank or go and grab money that's stuffed under the mattress at your house and spend a little bit of money. And remember, I think not only myself but others that have asked the poll ads to maybe spend a little bit more haven't said every year we should have this great big huge payroll. I always use the analogy, the song by the Fifth Dimension called "The Age of Aquarius." Yeah. The words are, when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. So in other words, when things look like they're falling into place, that's when you go, let's go a couple of extra dollars. Like for me, going into this season would have been, let's sign Sonny Gray. Or if we can't get Sonny Gray, let's get a Blake Snell or somebody, because we built some momentum. And other people have a different opinion, and some I've read recently even say it really had nothing to do with it. The collapse this year was all because of the high-paid players that they do have did not perform well. We had players that they were expecting more from didn't perform well, which is part of the problem too. I've tried to warn people of that. A lot of ball guys will look at a player's performance from the previous year going into the offseason going, he's just going to get nothing but better, but we don't always know that, as we saw again this year. Money certainly isn't the only thing that, the people, the poll ad pocket protectors will go like, how many titles have the Dodgers and Yankees won lately? They'll do that. And, you could throw that up as an argument, because it hasn't bought them a World Series. But
they've also been like the two winningest franchises during that time.
But here's what I'll direct you, because it is about money. No matter what anybody tells you, it is. And I'll give you a prime example. Dateline Kansas City. This is an Associated Press story. Garrett Cole pitched like a postseason ace Thursday night, holding the Kansas City Royals to a single run over 7 innings and sending the New York Yankees to a 3-1 victory that put them back in the American League Championship Series. The 6-time All-Star scattered 6 hits and struck out 4 before handing the ball to the New York bullpen, which dominated a tense AL Division series. Clay Holmes tossed a perfect 8th inning. Luke Weaver breezed through the 9th, extending the scoreless streak by the Yankees relievers to 15 2/3 innings this postseason. Garrett Cole makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money. And who's the kid for Detroit? Skubal won the Triple Crown. He won 3-0. I don't know if they're paying him a lot of money yet, but they're going to have to. My point is, you get what you pay for. And pitching wins. If you've noticed in that Detroit-Cleveland series, the first 3 games were all shutouts. Look at the game last night. Almost all the games are low-scoring affairs. We talk about that all the time, tend to be that it's nice to have a power-packed lineup, but once you get to postseason play, most of the teams that are there for several reasons, but usually number one is they have a really good starting staff, especially a staff ace like a Garrett Cole. They've got a guy, and you got to pay him a lot of money. You have to pay him a ton, more money than you really want to pay. You think Sonny Gray, 3 years, $75 million is a lot of money? What do you think it costs for getting Garrett Cole? Now, I don't know what his numbers are, but I'm assuming it's significantly more. I don't know how much those guys in the bullpen are making, but my guess is they're making some pretty good money too. It is about the money. That doesn't guarantee you'll win. Garrett Cole could go out. The Yankees could move. They could move on in this series. They could still they could move on in this series to the American League Championship Series, and Garrett Cole could get rocked in his very first game. It could. That's the beauty of sports. There are no guarantees from any performance, but don't let the people tell you that the money has nothing to do with it. It's not the be-all, end-all, but you have to have stud pitching, and to get stud pitching, you have to open your pocketbook. And if you don't, then you're going to get Pablo's nice. Who's our, Ober's?
Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan and Ober. They're good, but they ain't Garrett Cole. They ain't Skubal. They're not these big name pitchers. That's what you got to have in order to advance in postseason more times than not. Just having one really good pitcher and then a bunch of guys and crossing your fingers and hoping the bullpen comes through and hoping you're going to outslug them 8-6. That's a recipe for disaster is what it is. And that's what this team has been doing year after year because they never pay for pitching. Yeah, they're giving Correa a big chunk of change. Got to have those guys. Buxton is actually at a bargain rate for, I guess really you could say he's not earning $100 million over his 7 years because he's injured so often. But when they signed him, that was kind of a bargain. People thought that if he can play like he has played in spurts and doesn't get hurt, he's worth it. But you got to pay pitching. That's where the money has to go. That's my belief.
Well, and over the last 20, 25 years, how many times have the Twins been in the playoffs? Good chunk, right?
Yep.
Especially in the 2000s, they were there a bunch. They've had some teams in the 2010s and 2020s. They had Bomba Squad. Out of all those years, because you're just talking about money and what you'd spend in the offseason, how many times have they made a big move before the trade deadline?
Yep.
And that goes back to your earlier point of when the moon and then however you describe
Moon
that.
is in the seventh house, Jupiter lines with Mars.
I think you and I would agree. Every year we don't need to make a splash at the trade deadline. But there have been a couple of years where you're like, man, we got a squad here. Like when Bomba Squad was going, that looked like one of the best teams in baseball.
Yep.
I still go back to the 2006 Twins when you had Johan Santana pitching Cy Young material, Francisco Liriano, who looked like Rookie of the Year. I know he ended up getting hurt. Brad Radke. Like you were one legit starter away of going, man, we could throw out really good pitchers every game of a playoff series. And that team looked like, for a stretch, the best team in baseball. Barely did anything at the trade deadline. And a lot of that comes back to money. Because one, anyone you acquire, you got to pay for the rest of the year. But two, to get those players at the trade deadline, you have to give up young assets who are under team control for a cheap amount for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And they don't want to give away those cheap assets.
Meanwhile, Garrett Cole scatters one run. Can you give me a rim shot? He scatters one run. Okay, meat sauce. 6 hits, 1 run. He pitched that. He was brilliant last night. I watched the game. Detroit and Cleveland will play on Saturday night. Again, I don't know what they're paying Skubal. They'll have to pay him eventually. I don't know if this is, I'm not paying as close attention to Detroit Tiger baseball as I once did. I think he's pitching game 5. My money's on him. Kid can flat out pitch. He's 17, 18 and 4. ERA 2-something, striking out. He won the Triple Crown of pitching. You got to have pitching, man, and you got to pay for pitching. You just have to. You have to pay for it. And you can't blame the guys for wanting the big checks. You want to win in October? You want a guy to go 7 innings? You want a guy to scatter 6 hits and scatter 1 run? That's why they pay us the big bucks. That's what TK told me that day. Way back in 1991, I'm running up the stairwell to go up to the interview area in the second concourse. And as I come up the landing and start going up the next stairs, there's TK slowly walking up the stairs. And I squeeze by him with my tape recorder cover report. I go, great game, TK. And he goes, that's why they pay us the big bucks. And they do. They pay him the big bucks. So, yeah, it's not all about money. Certainly not. Injuries play a part and everything. And, you can look at the Yankees and say, how many world championships they won lately. But as you mentioned, at least they're there all the time. And they do have more money to work with the local TV rights and radio. I get that. But it's, again, do I have to do the billion compared to million thing? The poll ads could have done it had they want. And we both just emphasize, don't have to do it every time. But and like you mentioned, that Bomba Squad. And even this year, it's like, let's go out there and let's get somebody. We did go get a guy, but he ended up throwing more wild pitches and strikes, and he didn't even participate.
Well, and the other, the argument of a lot of the Polar pocket protectors was it's not worth spending a whole lot of money on pitchers because they might break down and they have arm issues, and I get that. But the other problem with not spending money on pitchers is if you're not going to do it, you better draft and develop them.
Yep.
And maybe that's not a Polad thing, but tell me all the great pitchers we've drafted and developed over the last 30 years.
Yeah. Well, it's the big leagues, and you've got to. So if you want to play with the big boys, sometimes you got to dig down deep, and you got to add a couple of dollars. I was looking for as I'm paging through, and I have it here, and I'm just not going to be able to find it. But I saved it because somebody found me that Johan Santana quote from all those years ago when he said, when the team didn't make a move at the trade deadline, and always playing for the future. I got to keep these young guys. They're going to be part of our future. Can't trade young guys to get anybody to help us now. And he had that famous quote. I wish I could get it exactly. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll keep paging through here. But it was just like maybe some of us won't be here for that future. We won't be a part of it. And he left, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, didn't want to be there anymore. So we'll see. And there is no guarantee that the next ownership will come in and spend boatloads of money, or they'll make the right decisions or hire the right guys. We know there's no guarantee, but I do think most people, and I harbor no ill will personally toward the Polas. I don't know them. I've never met any of them. I don't hold any ill will, but you do find it frustrating as a fan, especially when, the fans have, for the most part, supported the team when it's playing well. They show up, and helping to build the stadium, right? Mm-hmm. They reached out, and the taxpayers said, "Okay, we're all in at that." And so, I think most people find it refreshing. At least there'll be new ownership, and whether it makes a difference in the standings remains to be seen. 1 million seconds is about 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. There's such a huge difference between a billion and a million. And so Forbes go, that number keeps coming up. Forbes says the Polards are worth $3.8 billion. That number's from way back, I think, in 2016. So we're a long time. That was the last time Forbes did something like that. My guess is it's got to be more than that now. This text message says, here's hoping that Mark and Ziggy will make an offer. I think so far the Wilfs have been pretty good stewards of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. It's different. It's hard to know if they were football fans, especially Ziggy. Man, that's why he bought. I don't know how much he would be interested in a base. I know you don't have to necessarily be interested in a business if you know it's going to make you money. I'm sure I don't think if the Wills felt like buying the Minnesota Twins would be a monetary bonanza, they would certainly consider purchasing the club. But I think with football, for sure. Remember, I just love the story about Ziggy where it was when he first owned it. This sticks out to me of all the stories about Ziggy was he had an opportunity. He had tickets to a Giants preseason game or could go to Woodstock. And he went to the Giants preseason game. That speaks volumes to me. He likes football. He likes football, and he'd rather watch football than do the brown acid, So I don't know if he would, if they would want to buy the team. But because they've done, they've gotten the team to, how long have they owned it? Is it just the one NFC championship game for them, 2017? Because did they own the team in 2009? They didn't, did they? Or were they? I
feel like they did.
Maybe they did.
Yeah.
It has been a long time. It's been forever. But anyway, I don't think they've ever. I think they've done everything they could to put a winning team on the field.
Yeah, 2005 is when they bought it from Red.
So they've got a couple of NFC Championship game appearances, and I think they've done it. But it's hard to compare what a team would do when you're in a non-salary cap. That is that is the issue. I think almost all NFL teams don't they spend the cap. Don't they?
They basically all do.
And don't most NBA teams spend to the cap? As a matter of fact, they've got those luxury taxes. Here locally, we've gone over that. In the NHL, they have a salary cap.
Other than when the Coyotes were in Arizona, yes. Most of them spent close to the cap.
So, to say that, boy, I sure hope Ziggy and Mark buy the team because, boy, they spend money, right? Well, that's because they're able to spend to the cap. If it was unlimited, let's say there was no cap in football. How much more would the Wolves spend? How much more would the owners of Detroit spend and Dallas and Green, all the teams, right? You don't know how much they would go. So let's say the Wolves did buy. Would they be going, we're going after Garrett Cole. We're going to go after 2 stud pitchers or 5 great running backs into a running back thing. So I'm not sure. So what new ownership?
Well, they might not like baseball either.
Well, that's
we don't
it.
know. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Probably want to have some passion for a sport.
That's the thing. That's why I brought up the passion for football. They love football. You don't know if they love baseball, and then you don't know if it's like, I don't really know if because I think maybe the poll odds were like this. I don't really know if I want to have a payroll of, what was it last year, 160? I don't know if I want to have a $200 million payroll and not get anything back for it. But I will ask you this. If you had a $200 million payroll, maybe you couldn't, if the team was really good and made a deep run in postseason play. I don't know if you'd make all that money back. But, from what I understand, when Major League Baseball starts the season, just the national broadcast thing they have, doesn't each team get like a check for $100 million? Here you go.
The Twins were making plenty of money every year.
Here's $100 million for you right here. Right off. I think that was the number I read. And whether it's 10 million more or less, I guess really is academic. But when you're given a check like that to start the season, man, at $100 million, let's say it has $100 million. They've already paid $100 million of their $130 million payroll.
Yeah.
Well, to each his own.
It's impossible to lose money in professional sports.
Davey, how about if I charged you $6.33 for 10 minutes of free show? Would you at least consider it? Or maybe we'll do a package deal where, buy one, get one free. Buy one free show and get one free. Why don't you think about it over
I'm
the
going to think about it, talk to my wife about it, and I'll get back to you.
Would you do that, please? Yeah. And if you want, take it out of your joint checking account. I don't care how you pay me. Just pay me. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We're back on Monday at 12 noon. Big Ticket and Brett Blakemore are next. Right here on the Fan.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Well done, young man!
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.